Now that you understand how to establish a baseline, the next step is where things really start to come together, identifying behavioral deviations. Because this is where observation turns into insight. Let's start with the core principle. Deviation is the signal. You are not looking for nervous behavior or confident behavior. You are looking for change, a shift from how the person normally thinks, speaks, or moves. Once you have observed someone's baseline, their natural tone, gestures, posture, and speaking style, you begin to watch for moments where that pattern breaks. For example, imagine someone is speaking comfortably, using natural hand gestures, maintaining a steady tone, and then suddenly, during a specific question, their hands go still, their voice tightens slightly, they pause longer than usual. That shift, right at that moment, is a behavioral deviation. Now, here's the key: deviations are meaningful only when they are linked to something specific. Always ask, what just changed? When did it change? What triggered that change? Because timing gives the deviation its meaning. Let's look at some common types of deviations. First, verbal deviations. A person who usually speaks clearly becomes fake. Someone who gives moderate detail suddenly over explains. A smooth speaker begins pausing or correcting themselves. Second, non-verbal deviations. Natural gestures suddenly reduce or become rigid, posture shifts, leaning back, turning away, or becoming stiff. Facial expressions become more controlled or less expressive. Third is vocal deviations. Tone becomes tighter or flatter, speaking speed changes faster or slower than usual, pitch rises slightly under pressure. Individually, these changes don't prove anything, but when they appear together, they form a cluster, and that's where your confidence increases. Now, here's something subtle but powerful: micro deviations. Not all changes are obvious, sometimes it's just a slight longer pause, a brief tightening of the lips, a tiny shift in posture. These are easy to miss, but incredibly valuable when you train your attention. Another important point: consistency versus one time deviation. If a behavior changes once, it might be random, but if the same deviation appears every time a certain topic comes up, that pattern becomes highly meaningful. For example, every time you mention a specific event, the person pauses, becomes less expressive, uses more vague language. Now you are not looking at a single signal. You are seeing a repeating pattern linked to a trigger. That's where real insight comes from. But let's stay grounded. Deviation don't equal deception. They indicate change in internal state, increased cognitive load, emotional discomfort, sensitivity to the topic. Your job is not to jump to conclusions. Your job is to notice, connect, and explore further. So instead of thinking they are lying, you think something about this moment is different. Let me understand why. And that shift in mindset is what separates amateurs from professionals. Because once you start identifying behavioral deviations accurately, you are no longer reacting to random signals. You are tracking meaningful changes in real time. And that's where lie detection becomes a true skill.